So, Con, today's race is a little something special, huh?
Yeah, it's a little different. I've never been up here before. This is a weird spot.
Yep,
There's a
this
rusty
is
old shed.
Steve's garage. Don't be mean to Steve's garage.
Is it actually called Steve's garage?
It is. It says above the door.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is Steve's garage.
It's Steve's garage,
Wow.
and the slug lives within Steve's garage. Got the
Yeah,
handbrake
the
on the slug, and then
wonderful brick of concrete.
yes, a concrete brick that has traction motors. That's literally what it is. I'll have to dig out pictures from my BNSF time. We had two that worked out of my shop that were literally, just a
Were
slug.
slugs for road stuff or just for shunting stuff?
Almost entirely for shunting stuff. There were some that were over the road too, but more common for shunting because they're really good at the low speed, high amperage stuff. You could put the engine in really high power from the get-go, and it'll just pull the universe because you're distributing the current from one alternator or generator from the locomotive across double the amount of traction motors now. So huge parallel circuits and all that. Really, really good for crazy traction. So.
All right, so we're racing to the coal mine.
Yeah, we're at this bottom right corner little spur here, down at the bottom right. We're gonna try and run all the way up to the coal mine. So we got two crazy downhill sections. The one that we're on to start, the big start of this, and then the one down to the coal mine itself. And we've purposely given ourselves just a DE2 and some fun loads of nuclear and then alcohol, a good combination.
Nuclear waste and alcohol to explode. It's
So
a great
we
combo. It's a perfect Saturday evening. Is some nuclear waste and alcohol.
some alcohol, dude. That's how I like to party.
Yeah, that's my party.
And the DE2 with no dynamic brakes on the wrong end from the slug, which is very heavy. Down the steepest downhill grade in the map. So it's fine.
Here's the thing. We are going to be allowed to hook our DE2 up to our slug if we want.
Right.
But obviously you have to find a switch to do that. And if you do hook your DE2 up to the slug, you get your DE2 from the front of the train to the back of the train, all of a sudden you're going to have the slug power along with your DE2 power. So it's going to make a big difference.
You'll actually be able to pull this because it's about 300 tons all said and done, which is going to be a lot for the DE2 uphill, but DE2 and the slug, that's a cakewalk.
Is it 300 tons with the slug or without the slug?
With the slug.
Yeah, okay, because the slug's 125 tons on its own.
Yeah, and then each tank car is about 23 tons, and then I think it's like 52 for the nuclear waste. But let's get the show on the road, man.
Yeah, we're going to the coal mine.
I'm standing at the handbrake of this slug with my DE2 turned off.
Oh yeah, I'm at the same thing. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go. Pow, handbrake's off.
Plug is off. Oh god, it's not rolling. It was rolling last time.
It did roll. It tried to roll away. Breakers.
Okay, never mind. Now mine's rolling. Brakes all the way off. Brakes all the way off. Put her in full beans.
Oh yeah, notch 11, go to heaven.
No, that's gonna blow the engine in like the first 10 seconds.
I mean, I got my traction motors up to about 119 degrees.
No, I mean amperage. I went like over 1,000 amps right off the bat.
Oh yeah, no, I did too. And I got the temperature up to 119 before I shut off. So.
So will you can blow an engine on amperage alone without the temp, or is it only temp that blows
The temp
it up?
is the only thing that'll blow it. You can run the amperage all the way up, but that very quickly increases the temperature. So.
Oh, okay, that's all. It just spikes your temp.
Yeah. Okay, and then here's the one. The one, so it's 10 kilometers an hour downhill associated with a 3.5% grade. I guess I should squeeze some air on.
Yeah.
This is just the crookedest, squiggliest little track.
Yeah, I don't want to go much faster. This is going to be an interesting race.
We're going to have to see how you do.
I have a strategy here, but like I've also never really driven with a slug before, so I don't know.
Right now, it's just a really heavy train car, so don't worry about it too much.
Yeah. I've also never really driven with... So, okay, so slug, it's got... It doesn't have a brake compressor or anything like that on it?
Nope, it is a
traction motors?
Concrete block with traction motors. The one in Derail Valley doesn't have dynamic brake grids. The ones that I worked with did, so that you could run them in dynamic braking as well, but not the one in Derail Valley.
Dude, I just hear a constant brake squeal. Like it's
pretty much.
My brakes are gonna be like red hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to mitigate. I'm cycle braking right now, so I'm
brake hard and then don't brake and then brake hard.
Yeah, I don't know if that's better than just a light brake or not, but at least you're cooling the shoes some? Question mark?
Yeah, I've been on a light brake doing about 15 down this hill. Now I let off the brake.
Oh, you've been doing 15. I've been doing about 20 the whole time.
Yeah, and now I'm doing 20. It seems like it picks up a little bit here.
It definitely does. I'm almost I'm on the big sweeping left-hander before the tunnel, so I'm coming up to that tunnel then.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, I see the tunnel up ahead. Okay.
I'm gonna kick off the air. The steepest hill is after the tunnel down the bridge. That's the really scary.
You said it's
bit.
like 5% or something?
I think so. It's ridiculous. That's where I came off at the very end when I grabbed the slug originally in my career playthrough. So.
God, this turn is so steep.
Dude, it's
the train's
ridiculous.
just like shaking going around it.
It's fine. I love this track. I wish there were more tracks like this in the valley that you actually had to run tonnage over, because it would be so much fun to just really precision train handle through there.
You ever had a wheel skip off a train, like only a single wheel? Does that happen where it skips off the rail? Leading trucks or something, or? I'm assuming not at the museum because it's a pretty slow track.
Technically at the museum I have once actually. 491, our big engine, she didn't like the fact that the track was not ballasted very well when we started running her. And a track that's basically ballasted with river rock and dirt is not held in place whatsoever. And so she put the track where she wanted. She actually moved it 6 feet on center. And remember, it's 3-foot gauge track, so she moved it 2 track widths over. Oh god, it's a 5.5% grade. Holy crap.
That's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. But it's a 50 mile an hour speed limit,
bro.
so yeah, send it, dude. I'm actually gonna power into this because I mean, it honest to God is a 50. So I'm gonna get a little speed up first, but I know that I'm gonna have to hit the brakes pretty hard shortly thereafter. Yeah, she moved the track 6 feet on center, which was just ridiculous. And it caused a bit of an issue where the suspension ran out of travel as she's trying to go around the turn. We knew that it was turning into a kink, and it's like, man, it's feeling a little weird.
How does that? I don't understand how that works. How does the suspension run out of?
So the suspension's all connected in the wheels, and everything was trying to move so far, each wheel set, that it came up hard. It ran out of space to move.
It doesn't have lateral travel. It only travels vertically, right? So like.
Yeah, but as the wheel sets move laterally, it does affect the suspension because there's centering devices in play and all that.
Right, and the wheels they're on a constant radius. They change as it.
Right, and so she ended up running out of travel and all her suspension, and she picked up her inside pilot wheel, the number 1, the first axle, not driven, but the lead truck wheel. She picked it up and took it about a foot off of the railhead because she's trying to go through the curve so hard, and it was just like, oh my god. I've never seen the color drain out of somebody's face faster than the guy who was watching us go through the turn. Like, hey, check this. And we walked really slow, like walking pace through it, and she just absolutely picked it up. He's like, stop! We stopped.
How did you get it back on the? How did you get it back on the track?
We just slowly started moving it forward, and she set it back down. And luckily, she set it back down on the rail.
Holy
so
cow.
it was, yeah, I've had that, but that's the only time I've had something like that. So.
All right, I just made it through the switch at the harbor.
I am trying to blow up my traction motors a little bit past that on the hill.
That's interesting.
I've got my traction motors are living at about 112 degrees maybe right now.
That is unfortunate. Oh, someone commented in the last video that apparently our videos were out of sync last time, but I don't know how that happened.
We don't edit them separate.
Right.
Like, the intro might be different, but if you sync up on the 3, 2, 1, it should be fine.
Yeah. Were you doing any weird like frame rate changes throughout your video or something? That's
No, I didn't change anything. I literally just let it run as it did.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but like apparently someone was anyway. All right, well.
Strange.
That's what I thought. I thought if you sync it on the 3, 2, 1, everything's all good to go.
Should be. It makes sense to me, but I don't know if we're gonna make it up this hill, Con.
Well, you're doing the stupid and I'm doing the smart, so.
What are you doing?
I'm backing into the harbor and I'm gonna hook up my slug to my traction.
Oh, I see how it is.
Yeah.
You're being smart and I'm just trying it. I see.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna try this all the way to the coal mine. So I'm backing into the harbor, so I have lots of tracks to run around, and I'm gonna hook my slug up to my DE2 and I'm gonna put it on the front of my train so I can see where I'm going, and then boom, done. We're gonna put it in notch 8.
Well, That would be smart, he says, watching the temperature gauge climb.
I figured you were just gonna send it, and I'm like, I don't trust the DE2 to pull, like, you know, my car out of a ditch. So, like, it does not pull.
That's pretty reasonable, if I'm honest.
It's like the worst locomotive. The DE2's like, oh, you want me to pull 2 cars? Great. Have you ever heard of overheating? Well, it's this thing that happens.
It is this thing that happens. Hey man,
So
I'm making it at 14 km an hour right now. We're gonna have a tortoise in the hare situation shortly.
That's fine.
Here.
I don't. There's more hills coming up that get pretty bad, right? Like past that Y that you're going up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't run this track that often. I know that above the goods factory, there's that last hill past the bridge that's pretty bad. But I don't know if that's the worst or not. Oh goodness. I am really losing it now.
Slug. Does it matter if my slug's on the front of my DE2 or
It does not. You just have to MU it.
You have to MU it, okay.
Yep.
Because I'm going to basically run my DE2 with a really long-nosed slug on the front of it.
That is probably easier to switch out, yes.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to switch out, and then, you know.
Oh yeah, it is. We are dying in this tunnel right now.
I don't want to shove my whole train, though, because that just sucks. Like,
that is the closest I've ever gotten to absolute spice on the traction motor. Like, there was not daylight between the needle and 120. And we have stalled out. All right.
If you damage your traction motor, right, it loses pulling power now from permanently, doesn't it?
If you blow up the traction motor, it depends. It seems sometimes you blow up a motor and sometimes you don't. So it's interesting. I'm all stopped in the tunnel partway through. I'm gonna try and let it cool off and then go again. Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna have to back up to the harbor. I mean, goodness, I've only made it about a quarter of the way to the next switch. So unless it levels off.
Khan's got the strategy this time, guys. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to give it away, but like, you know.
Khan knew I was just gonna send it.
I knew you were gonna send it, so I'm like, I'm just gonna not send it because I'm assuming this thing won't make it. And
it turns out that you were smarter in planning on this than I was. That's why you wanted the extra car. I see. You wanted to add the nuclear waste so that we'd have an extra car. I see how it is.
I've just never driven with nuclear waste before. I thought it would be exciting.
Well,
you know, if I'm gonna bin it, I might as well kill the entire population while I'm at it, right? Like.
Right. That's reasonable.
Yeah. Otherwise, what are we even doing? All right. So let's unhook this.
Okay. Well, I put it in forwards and sand and amp. Oh yeah. Okay. We're not capable of running forwards. So. Looks like Khan's gonna be ahead of me here, everybody. We're gonna run this thing backwards real quick.
I still have plenty of time to bin it. Plenty of time. Now, we don't have an actual mission here because we just made this up. So we're just park it in whatever coal mine track, I guess, you want. And
right. Park it at the coal mine and say when you've parked it at the coal mine, and that'll be that.
I guess, yeah. Oh man, I'm excited. Now I feel my palms sweating.
Dude, you've got the chance. This is your shot, Khan.
This is my shot, yeah.
Okay.
There's a song that talks about this. It's like, you know, you got one shot. Do not miss your chance.
Okay.
You know, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
The speed is pretty fast on this alignment, so I'm going to be cheeky, and we're going to do some really dumb high-speed switching, because, I mean, what else are you going to do?
Are you going to, like, Dutch drop?
I'm bottling the air, and I'm going to just kick the slug, and I'm just going to let it just go. Goodbye, my friend.
Wait, you're gonna kick the slug?
The slug, I've kicked the slug. It's gonna go back down the other way, and then I'm gonna drop the train separately from my engine. I'm uncoupling all of this on the fly right now.
You're gonna put the slug back on the path that it came down, and then that Y. Yeah, so you might save some time on me. I'm switching in the harbor. I thought about doing a Dutch drop. I've done a few before in my own time, just for, you know, fun in career mode where you just bottle the air, but I was thinking in a high pressure situation, I should just have myself a siding.
That would probably be smarter than what I'm doing. Actually, that's not even probably smarter than what I'm doing. That's absolutely smarter than what I'm doing.
Well, the only risk you run into is if you accidentally like drop your air pressure too early and then your Dutch drop loses its power. Then you got to go repressurize it somehow with a vehicle, and it just sucks. Right.
Yeah, a failed Dutch drop is a very sad thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea how fast this slug is going right now, but I'm coming up to the switch almost. Oh god, it's gonna bin it right here, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna give it a little air. little break.
This is kind of amazing.
Okay.
All right, I gotta grab my slug. This is the longest. I picked the longest siding to.
Oh, please don't stop. Please don't stop. Please don't stop. Please don't stop right there. No! 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 Okay. It's
Did it not make it? Remember that air pressure thing we were just talking about?
Yeah, I just pulsed the brake valve real cute like, and then it was fine. Nothing blew up yet, surprisingly. Where is my DE2? There it is. Please stop. Please stop.
You have to go pressurize
Please
your
stop.
again.
I have 4 cars or 5 cars in the dirt on their sides, Con. One of the tank cars.
Is this a reload for heist?
Two of the tank cars are enjoying drinking the water.
You might want to just reload your autosave.
You know what? I'm gonna. How much money do I have? I have $9,000. I probably can't pay to re-rail these unless there's no re-rail fee. I'm gonna find out. There is re-rail fees. Okay, yeah, I have to reload. Crap! Okay, fine. How do I do that? I've loaded and when was I not derailed? Probably
It'll be
right
your
there.
most recent save for sure. Oh man.
Okay. Well, and also, I mean,
Feels
this is
good to be the pro.
Look at the pro today. Colin's figuring it out. I tried to be too spicy, and then
I'm saying this now though, but I guarantee you I'm gonna bin it sometime on this route.
It's fine. It's fine.
I got my slug hooked into my D2.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this stopped everything. Everything's all stopped right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You'll be 100% stopped.
Everything is unhooked, but not stopped. But I want some gravity to happen.
All right, my slug's in my D2 now. I've never driven with a slug before.
Okay, I guess I have to.
Oh,
hunt
this is
these cars.
sick, dude.
Dude, you just put it in notch 8 and it's fine. Yeah,
it doesn't even get to full amps at all. It doesn't even come close.
Yeah, you literally just put it in notch 8 and forget about it.
It's like 400 amps, and it just feels like I've got a brick now. I'm driving a brick.
Literally, yeah.
Literally 300 amps of just hello power. Like, how are you doing?
For the play-by-play, so you understand what happened on my Encon, I had braked the slug a little bit because I was worried it was going to come off on the curve, and then it stopped on the switch, so it didn't. It did not work well. But then the cars behind it that I didn't brake came up behind it, and they derailed on the curve.
Oh,
so I was right. They
Yeah.
didn't smash it. They came off the track and went into the drink.
Well, that's
So that was hilarious. I can't find the bleed valves on this, so I'm recharging all this crap. I hate this.
I have a really long-nosed train right now. Is where I'm at.
There's the bleeder. Go.
This
Be
is
free,
like
my
this
child.
feels like an American muscle car, honestly.
Dude, it's so good. You just put it in 8, and it just goes. It's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I blew up the traction motor on my DE2.
You did with the slug?
I was going in reverse and I put it in notch 8 forward.
Oh yeah, don't do that. They don't like that. That's bad for the choo-choo.
Yeah,
the choo-choo does not like that.
Oh, I have no traction power. Hold on, there we go. I gotta flip the breaker.
No, don't. No, why was the coupler not hooked up?
I think I'll still be okay though. I don't think I need a reload for it.
You'll probably be fine. You still have 7 traction motors, so.
Yeah, I still got.
If you actually blew one, you may not have actually blown it.
Well, it sparked on the D2.
Oh yeah, that'll yeah. Well, when you restart it, sometimes they're actually fine. Okay, that's fine.
I don't know. Let me. I guess I could look at what the damage says, right? Oh, it says 100%.
Yeah, you'll have to see if the traction motors are broken.
How do I check that?
If they're like sparky, glowy stuffs.
No.
Yeah, then you might be fine. Yeah. I don't know. I might have just KO'd mine with how spicy that dunk was. Stop! Derail Valley!
100%. I'm probably okay. I gotta go grab the rest of my train again. I haven't even gotten close to like hooking my train back up. I'm just running around it now, finally.
Oh my god, so you're just taking your time switching like ridiculously.
Well, I picked, like I said, I picked the longest siding to switch on, and I'm only doing like 30 down this side. Well, not even, I'm doing 20 down this siding. But yeah, I picked the longest siding. The good news is once I get this hooked up, we're just gonna notch 8 this to victory, you know?
There you go.
And I've got a nice visibility.
This is now rolling. Very good.
So what's the limit on the number of slugs you could put on? Because at some point in time, the amperage output from your motor on your DE2 or whatever isn't going to be enough.
I think it's hard-coded in game that you only get the 2, or only the 1.
Like only one slug.
Right.
In real life, though, it's all about like what? Amperage on the.
I've heard of 2 being used before, but that's really uncommon.
With 1 diesel.
Yeah. Oh goodness, how fast are these tank cars going?
All right,
Who
there we
knows? Who knows? I guess I don't need to pop the air. What I can do is I can tie a brake. If I can get to a brake.
All right, I'm about to hook up to my nuclear waste. I've got the big American muscle car train set up, you know, with the giant freaking hood. This is like the Dodge Viper of train cars, you know?
Dude,
like
it's rad. Okay,
engine's
that
just
did not
like-
break anything. That's great. We turned the brakes
There we
on.
go.
Okay. I swear to God, if I get going again faster after reloading and all of the shenanigans that I've been doing.
Are you Dutch dropping it still, or what?
Oh yeah, I did the same exact thing, but just from further down the hill. What are you screaming about, DE2?
It's a DE2. It doesn't like living.
Well, I mean, you do make a salient point there.
All right, I'm hooked up.
Okay. Where are you at?
And
Are
I'm
you in
in
the
Notch
harbor
8.
yard somewhere?
Yeah, I'm in Notch. Well, I'm in the passenger yard at the harbor. Is this
Oh,
closed?
okay.
It's closed.
Oh
yeah.
wow, this might actually be kind of close. God, I gotta run faster now. I gotta go hook up to the slug.
Yeah, I'm good. I got my brakes pressurized. I'm full forward, Notch 8, barely running 500 amps. The
I have
slug's
no
just pulling
glass
us
left
to
in my
victory.
DE2. It's fine.
have
Glass
no
is
what?
over. Glass.
Oh,
All of the
the
glass
glass
is broken.
broke? Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't matter. Although the aerodynamics is going to make me win. That's what's.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. The
All
nice
right.
thing is with this route to the coal mine, there's only really like it's always turn right at every switch.
Oh, this
And
is
there's
gonna
only
be.
3 switches.
This is fine. 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 It's fine. It's fine. Oh, phew, that was almost chef's kiss. Actually, I thought I was about
Dude,
to
this
dunk at
slug
like
is
50 mile an
amazing.
hour.
It's so quiet.
I stalled the DE2. How did I stall an electromechanical? Life's hard. Okay, it's fine.
The slug is so quiet. You don't even hear it. It's just like
Oh yeah, it doesn't. It just makes traction motor sounds.
it's just a big power brick.
Come on, we
All
got
right.
places to be.
We're doing good. We're pulling our alcohol and nuclear waste.
Are you
Forwarding
past
up
the switch out of the
yeah, I'm
harbor?
past the switch out of the harbor.
Okay, you're officially ahead of me.
I'm going 45-ish, 42-ish, up to 40.
I've got a devilish trick up my sleeve still, so I'm gonna reserve
Uh-oh.
that.
I
I'm
don't
not
know
gonna
what
give
that
it away.
is. Are you spawning another slug?
No.
Are you picking
Not
up
go-
another locomotive?
I'm not gonna spawn anything. I'm not gonna pick up another locomotive. I have
You're
one
switching to
trick left up my sleeve. Switching to steam. No. Although I would
Dude,
probably
this
do better
slug,
with that.
it just pulls up the hill, it doesn't care. I'm doing a constant 40, like, oh, it's losing a little bit of speed, 37, 36.
Yeah, dude,
The
slug
slug
is
doesn't have
killer.
sand, though, does it?
You know, I'm not sure. The Derail Valley slug, whether or not it has sand.
Doesn't
It
seem
looks-
to have a sand patch on the
It
top.
looks like it's
anywhere.
got sand pipes, sanders in front of the trucks in both directions.
Oh, yeah, it does. What the heck?
So I don't know. I think the real ones did, but
There's no
don't,
hatch
I
on the
don't-
top to put sand in, though.
No, you know, just teleport it in there. Magic.
All right, so you guys at the railroad, I know we've talked about this before, but you guys use like a pure silica sand, right?
Yep.
Like comes from a quarry or something
Yep.
special?
Comes from a quarry, crushed stuff, silica sand.
So it's as pure as possible, and that's just not to clog your pipes up and stuff.
Yeah, if it's got impurities and stuff in it, it like actually clogs up and clumps up really bad. So you really have to have stuff like that for it to actually work. Okay. I don't think I tied any brakes, so it's time to go. Time to go.
Well, the good news is I can just like leave it notch 8, and that's it. The bad news is I'm only doing about 30 now. The
That's
hill's
fine.
2.3 degrees.
It's fine. Percent, I think, not degrees, but yeah.
Or yeah, 2.3%. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I got those brakes on partially.
Oh no, we're picking up speed now, going into the tunnel. Okay, so the slug's doing good.
Okay. I'm underway. I'm in notch 8. I got all my brakes off. I've got great air conditioning. Love that. A little bit of an exhaust leak, but...
Actually, I gotta turn my fan off. I gotta save power to keep my slug going.
Is that how that works?
The extra hey man, technically speaking, that is how it works. It's like 0.1 amps or whatever to run the fan, maybe 2 amps to run the fan or whatever.
So
that's amps I'm not putting into the slug.
I wonder, on the big engines, they have an auxiliary generator or a companion alternator, depending on the type of locomotive, that takes care of all of the like battery charging and little subsystems and stuff like that. So it's a separate system, separate circuits from the loading circuits.
Does it pull, like it pulls diesel from the tanks and then uses it on its own?
No, it's usually a mechanically run off of the engine in some way.
So you're still losing power from the engine then when you run it?
I guess you're technically right, yeah, but
that's like turning off your air conditioner in your car to get more power. You know?
But I don't know how much it affects you though, is the thing. Like, the engine's usually got enough huevos to run the alt for whatever load it needs, regardless. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I
don't know if it makes a difference.
Because like, you know, we joke about it, but technically speaking, thermodynamics is actually true. If you have a closed system and you put only so much power into the system through fuel, then you can only pull that amount of power out of it. So if you're consuming that power for something else, technically, according to the laws of thermodynamics and energy conservation, you know.
Well, yes, unless your locomotive engine is oversized and capable of supplying more power than the alternator needs, in which case, yes, you're using more fuel for the same effort, but it's not affecting the loading, it's just making the engine do more work.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. If all the devices consuming the output are, let's say, like, you know, a couple thousand watts or whatever, or horsepower, then, you know, if your engine can produce more than that, it's irrelevant.
Right.
You'll never, No, I agree. It's just cool how all that math works. So anyway, long story short, I turned off my cabin fan to get more speed out of my slug.
Right, that's because that is
I
in fact
debated
how that
on
works.
turning off the lights too, but it's only like a single bulb, so I feel like I'm okay.
I don't know if they simulated that or not. I
Can you
don't
imagine?
know.
Derail Valley Ultimate Simulator Edition.
I'm gonna turn off the lights. I think that's the strat. That's the strat that Khan's not picking up on.
Yeah. There's a spot there where I bogged down to about 15 km/h with the slug, but it just kept pulling, so that's good.
That's what it does. This combo will pull the world. It really will.
Right.
Muy strong. God, they're such a cluster though. These setups, it's not just one MU cable, because you have to send all of the actual traction motor leads across from the alternator, right? And those are heavy duty freaking DC conductors usually. At least on the stuff that actually ran slugs, I think were all DC. There are AC motored locomotives these days, but everything that I saw that had a slug was DC still. So you're talking about heavy duty DC cabling.
Yeah, so they're going to be big copper cables. Like
yeah, they're like 3 or 4 aught.
Are they
giant copper cables?
1,000 amps like Derail Valley shows, or like what's the amperage on that stuff?
So I'm just comparing what I've seen on the SD40 that we have at the museum, which the stuff that ran slugs, they were paired with SD40s, from what I can recall. The amperage would be less because of the slug, but the SD40 with 6 traction motors was designed for a continuous load limit of like 1,300 or 1,400 amps with
you need a big cable.
Burst capability of up to like 1,500 or 1,600. I mean, ridiculous amounts of amps.
As I'm preparing to get butchered by every electrical engineer in the comments, for those who don't know, amperage is like the current flowing through something, and voltage is the potential difference between 2 points.
Yes. Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
Voltage would be like pressure in a hose, and amperage would be the amount of water flowing through the hose.
And 1 amp will kill you, so, you know.
Not even. Fine. It's like half an amp across your heart kills you, isn't it?
I think you're right. I think it's half an amp is guaranteed death.
Yeah, half
and
an
then
amp.
And then there's like potential of death down to like milliamps of some amount.
Yeah. So like when I did paint robots and stuff, we sprayed with high voltage to create static electricity, so the paint would stick to the car. So you ground the car, which means the car has 0 volts, and the paint we would give it 60,000 volts. At 0.001 microamps, so it's like 1/1,000,000th of an amp. Like it's like a tiny amount of amperage. So it's not a whole lot of wattage because power is amps times volt, but it creates this massive difference in potential energy between the paint that you're spraying and the part itself. So you end up seeing the paint float through the air and actually like move and wrap down to the part like a really, really powerful static balloon. And that's how you make sure you always have an even coat, because as the paint layer builds up in thickness, the resistance increases, which means the paint wraps to different areas. That's how it always guarantees a smooth coat no matter how you paint it.
Dude, that's so freaking cool.
Smart, right?
Yeah, super smart. Super easy to get great results that way.
Right. So like we still have to program the robots to like cover all the areas of the part and all the areas of the car, but we don't have to be like nitpicky about overlap like to an extent. Like we have to have a little bit of overlap between paths, but at the end of the day, as the resistance of the paint increases, you know, boom, done. Also, the sparkle in your car paint is little flakes of aluminum, and the voltage causes the aluminum to stand up, which is what makes it sparkle. If it was like sprayed normally, it would be flat and it would be dull, but because it's standing up, it makes it sparkly.
That's super cool.
It only works because you spray with really high voltage. That's why if you try and like spray in your garage or something and you try and get the same results that like, you know, a professional paint shop does, you're never going to do it, because you have to spray with a high voltage to get that static effect. Ground your part, spray with voltage. The problem is if your part's not grounded, 60,000 volts sparks. And if 60,000 volts
splatter,
sparks,
yeah.
Well, we've had it happen, so it became the paint robot became a flamethrower, where it sparked, lit all the paint on fire, and then started spewing fire onto the part, so the part got caught on fire. But then the paint robot at the end of each stroke turns off the paint, so then the flame went off on the robot, and then it came back on with like fresh wet paint and put out the fire.
That's crazy.
It was just, and you're like, oh my god, that's a lot of fire, and then it goes, oh, no fire, and then, oh, put out the fire. Okay, we're good. That part's wrecked.
I only ever got to see high potential, crazy voltage stuff once at the railroad. Sometimes there's an electrical defect in the engine that you can't trace, or in the locomotive you can't trace. Trying to figure out one of the many systems. There's positive ground, negative ground, low voltage systems, then there's the high voltage system. There's a ton of different electrical stuff going on in a locomotive. And sometimes you couldn't trace it, you couldn't detect it, and so you back flush it by doing a high pot test, where you take the car body of a locomotive, which is normally your ground, and you pump it up to something like 1,000,000 volts and find what smokes. And that's where that's where the ground is, and that's the ultimate troubleshooting test.
That's not a great solution.
That's why I only saw it once. That's the last resort.
When you're dealing with stuff that's flammable, you know, like
well, you're not talking about arcing it across the fuel tank, you know.
Like we accidentally, you know, had a flamethrower. We didn't intentionally create a flamethrower, you know, like it's.
That's fine.
It's a very different situation.
Accidental flamethrower. Name of my next band. There you go.
Yeah, man, 100%. Oh, we had some funny stuff in automotive. It was great. I loved working in big factories, just because to me it wasn't about whatever product you're building. I didn't care about the product you're building. It's cool, you're making car parts, whatever. But like the way you make them is so much cooler than how they're like than what they are.
Yeah, the little processes that go into the little details on the back end. It's so cool.
And that was my whole job. I was like essentially I had different names, like different titles throughout, but essentially every job I worked in, I was a process engineer. I would always deal with like how do you improve the process, fix the process, make the process work better, you know. And yeah, it was always just a fun time dealing with hilarious situations where robots do stupid things they're not supposed to.
I can only imagine. I've seen
the program one time because robots have like paint lines, and like there's a couple different kinds of paint robots that I worked with. There's like really two. One is canister load and one is non-canister load, right? Canister load is exactly that. It's got a big canister on the robot arm. The canister has a big piston on the back. You know, like a caulking gun, like like a caulk gun, right?
Right.
It's essentially like that. That's a canister load. And what it does is it fills up the canister with whatever paint color you want. It first blasts it out with solvent, and then it fills it with whatever color you want, and they calculate based on like previous paint paths and stuff. It knows how much color it needs, right? So it'll fill it with, let's say, like 80 cc's or 100 cc's of paint or whatever the heck it needs, right? And then it'll blast that out, and then whatever's left, it'll blast into like a dump valve, like a dump drain. It'll blast the rest of the canister to empty it, spray it out with solvent, put a new canister of color in, boom, done, problem solved, right? So you waste a little bit of paint, but that's a canister load. And the other type of system is like the lines, where you have literally tons of different lines going to the robot. But with those, the line system, you still only have one line in the robot arm itself. You've got what's called a valve block right before the robot that has all the different colors. So you still have to purge that one line between like the valve block and the robot. But then
Gotcha.
it's colors, and it can spray, like you can spray that continuously. It doesn't have to come back and reload the canister ever. It just sprays forever, right? But you still have one line in the robot arm. The advantage of a canister load, you don't have to worry about the fact that you have one line in the robot arm, right? Now robots, this is where the story gets fun. This is one of those like 50 different systems come together and you forget how they work. So robots have this weird thing where they always try and find the shortest way to get from point A to point B. And when you program a robot, you're essentially giving it like its coordinates. You're saying, I want you to be at X, Y, Z with rotations RX, RY, RZ, right? And that's where I want you to be. And then I want you to take X amount of time to go from point A to point B to point B to point C, and so on and so forth, right? And do all these movements. And robots will kind of interpolate that a little bit. So you can program them. They won't have to go exactly to the point you tell them to go to. They can just kind of create an arc between the points that you give them, right?
Yeah, it smooths out the motion, right?
Right. So sometimes they try and figure it out. So we had a program that would rotate 180 degrees, and then because of momentum and motors and stuff, the robot would kind of rotate a little bit past. So the fastest position to get back was now to continue the rotation in the same direction and not rotate back the way it came, right?
Right.
So you run that program 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. All of a sudden, that line inside the robot is twisted up like 12, 13, 14 times. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried twisting like a rope and like continue in the same direction. What happens?
So they don't have a like any sort of like swivel connection to allow for continuous rotation.
No,
okay.
No, it does not. It's like a syringe tube almost that handles like 60 psi paint.
Oh yeah, I
Anyway,
guess you couldn't really. You probably could, but it would be very expensive and kind of pointless. Gotcha.
Yeah. So long story short, that we had a robot that all of a sudden we're like, hey, it's not spraying paint. Hey, why is there paint coming out of the joints in the robot arm?
Oh.
And then it was
it's wrapped itself up, and the line went.
Wrapped itself. Yeah, that's great. So then we had to write a program in that would basically, the robot remember which way it rotated, and it would force it to rotate back the opposite direction, just to like, you know, it's like, hey man, don't be stupid. You went to the right, go back to the left, you know, even though it's slightly longer.
That's funny. But
robots are great, man. They're the best.
They do exactly what you tell them to do. Sometimes that's a problem.
They're very stupid. It's hilarious.
So, Con, where are you at on the railroad here, my friend?
About past the goods factory.
Okay, you're still ahead of me. How fast are you going?
I'm giving it full beans right now. I was kind of coasting for a bit there because it was a downhill. I didn't want to pick up too much speed, but now I'm on an uphill. I'm doing about 60. Coming up to the goods factory.
Yeehaw.
I'm trying not to derail because derail is game over for me.
That is what would be super game over for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to, like, the speed limits here are mostly 80. There's a few 60s. I've been making sure I'm always under the speed limit. How fast can a slug actually pull?
It has a lesser top speed because you're reducing the total amperage that the motors can make. So I think it is slower. I'm not sure exactly how much slower it is.
I feel like I'm doing 55
it is slower
right now, and it doesn't seem like I'm accelerating any, and I'm at full beans.
I think that might be the cap then.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, just like your poop stories on BNSF, I have a lot of stories about automotive.
You've got paint stories.
I worked in paint mostly with paint robots. That was like my bread and butter for a lot of it. I've worked in stamping too, and I've worked with welding robots as well. I did a lot of different stuff. Stamping like big metal presses and stuff, right?
Ooh, the scary fun stuff, yeah.
It's cool. They're so big, like the biggest press I ever saw was 230,000 pounds per half of the die. So each die is 460,000 pounds total. And there were 7 dies in a row that all moved up and down at the same time. So like, yeah, we're talking 1.4 million pounds moving up and dropping, and it would do it once every like 50 seconds. So you just have this boom, boom, and like as you walk by it, the floor shakes like it's messed up.
That must have been insanity, dude.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's just insane. And it's cool because it's like, well, that's just they load these things with rails. So they have these big rail systems. And so what happens is the dies come down from the press onto this massive rail, and then it gets slid out, and then the other die is put onto the other rail, and it gets brought in, and then they have these massive overhead cranes that carry, you know, like big bay cranes, right? I'm sure you guys had them in the train shop, like massive, you know, 500,000-pound capacity cranes, right?
I wish
and
we had ones that
big. The whole
big.
die up and move it onto these rails, and then back to these storage bays. Apparently, the concrete in that bay was like 16 feet thick, is what they told me.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's so funny.
Yeah.
The shop that I worked at, I just recently found out that it's closing for good in about a week, which breaks my heart, but that's the way it goes. Up in Seattle, the Inner Bay Diesel Shop, 1929 Roundhouse, and December 1st will be its final day, which is...
Are they still keeping like the shunting and stuff, or is the whole yard?
Oh, the yard's staying there for sure, but they've outsourced all the maintenance to different shops, and that's that. Wow. So, bummer, but that's the way it goes. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a bad location for the way the railroad built out, so I understand why they're getting rid of it, but it makes me sad. But the back shop was built by the Great Northern, the original owner, right? And BNSF formed out of many different railroads, Great Northern being one of them. And they had this huge bridge crane put in, and it's supported by the brick wall foundation on the one side, and then on the other side, it's supported by a bunch of riveted iron trusses. And it was like a 40 or 50 ton bridge crane. And it got derated to 7.5 tons because the civil loading couldn't take it.
Wow.
Just like the old structure. And the railroad used it for a long time as a 50-ton crane.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's compressive forces. It's fine.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
Compression is strong. Everything's strong when you try and crush it.
Right, exactly.
It's just not strong when you try and pull it apart. Yeah, it was funny. They had so these big dies. They would lift dies with big Kevlar straps. Every die had these 4. It looked like boat anchor, not boat anchor. You know, boat. What are those things called? The davits or whatever on a boat. The big round things you see on the harbors. You know,
that the ropes go around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are called either. I'm not very nautically inclined.
Yeah. Anyway, every die had 4 of those on it, right? One on each corner.
Oh,
and
wow.
They would lift them with these big Kevlar straps. Like, I'm talking like 4-inch diameter Kevlar straps that would hook into the crane. And that's how they would lift them. They wouldn't use chains. Chains slip. Kevlar is nice and tough, and it doesn't scratch on the metal, and it stays intact and blah, 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 right? The guys lifting the dies wore hard hats. The guys with the crane operator. When they were moving a die, when they had a die up on a crane, they had a huge radius. Like, you were not allowed to get anywhere close to them at all, nowhere close to the die. Like, because even if it drops, the amount of force that you're dropping on the ground from, like, 6 feet up or 10 feet up or whatever is insane. Like, They would stack dies on top of each other to store them, because you can easily do that. So you'd have, if you dropped a die from 10 feet up, it's just, you're dropping even a small die that weighs 60 or 70,000 pounds, it's still a lot of force to drop, right?
Right. So the hard hat's going to save them, right?
Right, so they would wear hard hats, and I remember one of my first days there, my boss takes me out and he shows me these guys moving the die, and I'm like, this is awesome, right? He's like, we got to stand 100 feet back, whatever, and I'm like, great, and I'm like, I asked my boss, I said, why are they wearing hard hats? Like, surely they know that the hard hat's not going to do anything, and I swear to God, without my boss even blinking an eye, he just looks at me and he says, oh, that's so they can see where the guy was standing when the die fell and hit him on the head, because the hard hat will leave a circle on the floor.
Oh my God!
Wait, are you serious?
Yikes!
You're like, okay, great, thanks, man, appreciate that.
Con, I hate to interrupt your automotive stories, but I had a blip on my dash and a sound, and I looked and I saw a gauge come on that I hadn't seen before. I'm almost out of fuel.
How
are you doing?
I'm at the red line for fuel, but I'm above the red still.
Okay, I'm below the red. I must have used more than you somehow.
I'm just crossing through the switch north of the goods factory now.
Okay, I'm just behind you. Goodness.
I'm at full reg, full 100%. This is a hill climb.
Dude, this is quite the climb, yeah.
I'm only doing 20. Oh, now I'm picking up speed again, 25.
So,
did you coast at all though? Have you been? See, no. I coasted for a big section.
I hardly did not coast, and I'll now let you in on my trick, because you asked about the slug having a lower top speed. When it was flat, I disconnected the slug and I was doing 72 the whole time. And so my engine was running full speed, so I was using more fuel, which is why I'm in the predicament that I'm in. But I think I'm going to have enough to make it to the switch to the coal mine, and then it's all downhill from there, literally. So
and then
it's
we just have to full send it.
It's going to become a game of who breaks the latest down the hill.
The coal mine's a pretty smooth hill too.
It is. So
I love
I'm
how
coming
we've
up to that
just been
switch now.
we've just been sort of having this podcast this entire time because the slug is really just to like put it in full gear. And
Right,
drive
literally.
itself.
It's a return to form. The podcast is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we're just podcasting the stories.
We're at 100. There's nothing else we could do other than tell stories because the gameplay is so riveting at the moment.
Yeah, the gameplay is not. I mean, this is real life railroading. I feel like we would have fun if we were railroading together. We would
absolutely, dude. For real.
I
We
would
gotta
just
come play trains. Come on, for real.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, for sure. You gotta show me how to get a coal shovel sucked into a fire.
You try not to do that, but
Yeah, well,
it's happened, and it will happen again, I'm sure. I've never seen it happen in person myself.
What happens
but
to the rest of the shovel? Like, the metal doesn't melt, does it? Because it's steel. It wouldn't be that hot in the fire.
you sure about that?
Your fires get hot enough to melt steel, like, actually?
That is why you have to keep the crown sheet covered with water, because the fire is hot enough to actually melt the firebox.
That's nuts.
They burn it
Okay.
close to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit under crazy draft. I mean, at the
So then
museum, we're not working
you end up
that
having,
hard,
like,
but
a molten mess of steel shovel on the bottom of your...
yeah,
like,
they're pretty thin. I'd bet that you'd melt and warp. It would warp first. It'd take a while to melt, but I bet you'd melt the actual shovel. But usually what happens is they get sucked in, and you can fish them out with the rake before they get to that point. And
Right.
before even the wood goes up. I mean, obviously, if you were working, like, ridiculous tonnage and you threw it in and lost it, okay, well, that's one thing, but...
I heard they used to on the railroad, they used to go to the bathroom in a shovel and then just put it in the fire, too.
I've heard that if you had a number 2, because, I mean, you don't really have much other option. The number 1, I mean, you just go over the side, as you do.
Yeah.
So...
That is very unfortunate for the person who just happens to be watching trains one day.
It's just, oh, okay, all right, they're just doing that. That's fine. Yeah.
It just gets it, you know.
Speaking of that, so I didn't know this. I got the caboose in my last career episode. The caboose has a Turkish toilet in it.
I don't know what that means.
It is a toilet where it's a hole in the ground with places for your feet so you can squat over the hole.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Weren't those like outlawed in stations and stuff? Because like, you know.
Well, yeah, but you weren't supposed to use the toilet while in the station in a caboose or in a passenger car, because back in the day it just dropped out on the track before, you know, sanitation tanks and things and sucker trucks and all that fun. So
That would still suck. Like, even if you didn't use it in a station, you just have like random crap on the track.
literally, yeah. You gotta
Yeah.
shudder to think of what MOW had to deal with. Why is the bell? Oh, someone ate Taco Bell before they went on the train.
Yeah. Hey man, it seems like trains have been getting a lot of wheel slip coming out of the station. Oh really? Weird. Let's go take a look. Oh, the track is. Oh no.
It's a poo-poo track, literally.
Oh no.
Con,
Hey, we
I
gotta
don't.
change that one tie over there. Okay, how much poop is on the tie? All of it.
All of the poop.
Are you clear of the coal mine switch yet?
No, I'm getting close.
How's your fuel? Mine's in the red now.
Mine is flashing right now. It's like maybe a 1/6 or an 1/8 of the red left. Like it's
I have
getting close
actually,
to
like,
bingo.
I'm just under a quarter tank is where I'm at, which is in the red, but I'm not. And I'm just clearing the switch now, going into the coal mine.
Oh God, I'm so close. Is it gonna make it under power? Like, do I dare back down and lose some speed, but slow the engine down to use less fuel, or do I just keep it full pegged? Because it's so close.
Well, the problem you have is that a save is not going to fix your problem.
Yeah, precisely. I think if I run out of fuel and I don't coast past the switch, I think I'm hosed.
Yeah, unless you spot another DE2 to pull yourself up.
Right. I can see the switch. It's lined over.
Or can you fill your fuel? Is there a fuel
On the
repair?
comms radio? I don't think
Yeah.
so, no.
All right, I'm clear of the switch. I'm at the part where it says that we're on level track, and I'm heading down.
God, I'm
I know I
slowing down
still
just
have to go
anyway.
quick here though, because if I go slow, all of a sudden Heist is gonna come flying past me at like 100 down this freaking hill.
Right.
How many times do you run this hill? What's the speed limit? You know?
Downhill, I actually don't know the speed limit is downhill on the coal mine hill. I usually leave out of it. I don't think I've ever actually run to the coal mine, so we're on even footing here.
Yeah, it would only be a
oh
no!
I'm out of fuel. I'm out of fuel. It's coasting. It's coasting, and I'm at the switch, and it's still a 1% grade. Okay. I'm not throwing in the towel yet. Con, do I spawn a DE2 or do I spawn an SO60? Your choice.
I mean, you can spawn a DE2 to give yourself the fuel and pull yourself. You still gotta get it hooked up, but
okay.
I think I've won this race no matter what you do.
Unless I give it just all of the beans down the hill somehow.
Yeah, because even if you reload, you're at 0 momentum, so you just burn all your fuel trying to get any sort of speed. Yeah, dude, this picks up quick down this hill.
I bet. Okay, I've spawned the next one, and I got blessed with another SDNS skin.
All right, nice, nice. Yeah, I'm just trying to chill down this hill. I got my engine off again. See, I conserved fuel in that mid part. I didn't even do it intentionally, and look at how much that helped me.
It turned out that was a big part of the equation here.
Yeah, apparently, when you had the chance to coast, just coast.
Yeah, literally at the switch, I ran out. Oh my god. All right, full beans. Come on, go. So I have to be recklessly stupid down this hill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing 50 right now, so
I'm gonna have to do speed limit plus, and it's gonna end in fireworks, or I'm gonna somehow win. That's how this is going. Can I clutch victory from the jaws of defeat, or will Khan clutch defeat from the jaws of victory?
I feel like the smart thing was switching into the harbor initially, and I think that was the play.
That was for sure the first correct play you made.
Yeah, if you had done the same thing and then also disconnected your DE2 from the multi-unit disconnect, that's really smart on straights. I should have done that. Yeah,
but that's what killed my fuel though, is the thing. It was faster, but it did run out of fuel. So
true.
Okay, well, the speed limit says I can do 60, and I'm doing 23. So, come on, speed, power, beans. I'm gonna unhook
oh my God, my heart just exploded there for a second. I felt
did you almost come off?
Oh, dude, I hit a corner, at speed, and I was like, this corner looks fine. I don't know what the speed limit is, and he just started grinding.
The spicy derail sounds, yeah.
No, it was brutal. Okay, it says it's 60 here.
All right, I am now popping the MU cable, and I'm just gonna overload these traction motors for all of the speed in the world. 1,000 amps.
I see the coal mine switches.
Speed and power, baby.
I don't know which one I'm gonna go into, but I'm gonna apply some brake.
It's smoking now.
Feel like this might be my first victory, even though it's not a real mission.
I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure winning
not a real mission though.
All right, 80 and it's 1.8 downhill. All right, let's coax some more speed out of these sails. Come on.
I gotta find myself an empty lane to park this thing in.
Where we're going, we don't need traction motors.
I'm entering the yard.
Okay, I think Khan has officially won this.
I haven't found a lane yet.
I'm still on the hill. I'm in notch 8 going downhill, or actually notch 11. I am full send downhill, just the DE2. My traction motors are still super hot. I'm doing 70.
I found a lane.
I'm doing more than 70.
I have like 1/8 of a tank of fuel left. Amazing.
I don't think I think you're gonna park and stop and win, and I think I'm just gonna see where this comes off and how fast and enjoy it. I think that's what's happening on my end.
There's a corner. There's a corner right before the coal mine that
I'm officially in free cam, watching the train go. Just absolute full send.
I can't believe how large the slug is. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's a DE6 cut down. Okay, there we go. We're off. We're off.
All right.
There it goes. And the
Full
boys.
break.
There it is.
Full break. There we go. Victory is mine.
Congratulations, sir. You won this time.
We'll get him next time.
Good
All right,
luck,
I'm gonna
team.
put it in notch 8, turn off my brake, and see what happens.
There you go. Yeah. The boys are now going off one by one.
Oh, there's just a stop at the end of the coal mine here.
There we go.
Send it.
I was thinking that the other one wasn't gonna go, and now finally, I'm the one that nuked the hillside.
Come on, faster! This slug, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably great for shunting. It does not accelerate for.
No, it slows you down quite considerably in terms of acceleration, but apparently the D6 is pretty good. I still haven't tried it that way, so.
All right, here we go, full speed. I love how the game conveniently auto-saved right as I'm driving full speed towards this barrier. It's like it knows.
It knows you're doing something stupid.
This full speed is pretty terrible too, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we're gonna hit the end of track. Okay, we shoved that right off the end of track. The slug went off. We went off. Okay, the slug is going down the hill. It's dragging us with it. My train is surprisingly still intact.
Oh, my locomotive just blew up.
Now
That's fun. I always forget that the locomotives can blow up. The diesel engines can blow up too.
Wow, that was the saddest derail of my life, dude.
Was it?
Yeah, I went down into the mine pit a little bit, and it was very unsatisfying. Nothing really blew up.
Single
Doesn't
tier.
matter though, I won, so get out of here. Oh my god, my train's
You
wrecked.
did. Con won, guys. And it was genuine. It was even circumstances and everything. There wasn't even a handicap. You just made the smart decisions, and I was heist.
But to be fair, we weren't running Steam.
That is true.
So,
that is true.
You know, I gotta win a Steam race to feel really satisfied here. Winning these diesel races, you know, you just kind of pull the throttle out and you're good to go and make some smart decisions. But the Steam race, that's what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, gonna have to happen.
Yep, we're gonna have to do another Steamer one. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We will catch you all next time.
See ya.